Damn, bro, I had a big old knot on my forehead. What's good? That is not. It's just throwing me off. Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? Today's video, I'm finna tell y'all how to get approved for your first car, man. As I got approved for my first car loan with my Camaro like 2 years ago, which was my first ever car loan. And I'm gonna go over how I did that, tips for you, things that I wish I would have did, and all of that. So first we're gonna get to it, man, is the price range that you should be looking for, a down payment, and do you need a co-signer. So I'm guaranteed, so for your first ever car, man, if you're young, not no credit history, much all that, I say try to stay below 20,000 or less, and do a 20% down payment. 20% is, let's do the math. 20,000 loan, 20% is $2,000. That'll be a good down payment for you to do. Now, will you need a cosigner? You maybe or may not, but depending on the car you get, you probably won't even need a cosigner, to be honest. Say if you get a car like 15,000 or less, you probably won't need a cosigner, to be honest, if you do a good down payment with that. But if you're looking for a car that's 20,000 or more, you'll probably need a cosigner. A lot of cars you really won't need a cosigner if you got a good enough down payment. So don't stress on that when you're getting your first car, man. It's really not a lot to it. It's just knowing what can get you approved and what's not. So my car was 17,000 and I put 1,500 down. I did need a cosigner with that. If you're getting a $20,000 car and you put like 5,000 down, you probably won't need a cosigner, but it all comes down to your income. Your proof of income is what matters as well. No matter how much money you're putting down and all that, your proof of income is what needs to be showed. So let's say you're trying to get a car that's $500 a month and you're only making, let's say you're trying to get a car that's $600 a month and you're only making $800 a month, you're not gonna get approved more than likely, man. They're gonna need you to get a bigger down payment. So if you're making $800 a month and you're trying to get a car, I say your car don't need to be no more than $300 to $250 a month. Now, with that $600 a month, you could probably, and you're making $800 a month, what a cosigner, if your cosigner income is probably like $3,000 or $2,500, then you will get approved because of that cosigner. Because basically a cosigner is a person that takes over the loan if you can't pay it. It goes on to them. So that's where that cosigner stuff comes in there, man. Be realistic with yourself when getting a car, because I mean, just because you're making that much money to afford the car, don't mean you'll be able to always pay it. Because the loaners, they see it as if something, you're gonna need some extra money somewhere, somehow, like for your daily needs and all that. Just because your chicks is making enough to afford that car don't mean you'll get approved for it. That don't mean you're making enough income. Enough income is like enough left over to pay your car note comfortably. That's how they look at that as well. Another thing I want to open y'all about is negative equity. So negative equity is like how much you owe on the car compared to what the car is worth. So let's say you owe $20,000 on the car and the car's only worth $10,000. You're $10,000 in negative equity. And negative equity happens mainly if your down payment is not enough, and if you got a high interest rate, which is your APR and stuff. Be mindful of your negative equity if you do not plan on keeping your car loan. Honestly, I'm gonna tell you like this: if you plan on keeping your car loan and paying off that full loan term on it, don't worry about negative equity, man. Just get the car that you want at that moment. And if you, what I mean is like your whole loan term. If you plan on keeping that car that whole time, don't worry about negative equity. I'm just be honest with you. If you know that car's gonna last you as well that long time, don't worry about negative equity. If you're approved for it, just get it. Honestly. And what I mean by your long term is, if your long term is 4 years, 6 years, if you think you're not gonna want to trade in that car, don't worry about negative equity. Negative equity, trust me. I suggest applying for your car loan as soon as you turn 18 and not wait, because sooner or later you gotta move out of mom's crib. And the best thing that you can do is apply for your car loan at 18 years old and have it paid off when it's time to move out of mom's crib. That's the best thing you can honestly do. But me, I won't be taking that route, sadly, because I'm trying to upgrade my Camaro to something better that could probably give me better content. Most likely, when I move into my house, I'm gonna be paying a car note, and that's what I'm prepared for that. Scared to apply for your loan at 18 years old. Right now, I'm 20 years old. My credit is 775. And let's say a person who's 45 years old right now, their credit is 730. And they started their credit at 20 years old. They done went through 2 car loans. Well, let's say they went through 3 car loans, 3 paid off cars, they got one paid off house. They will get approved for a car way before me because of their credit history. So yes, your credit history is important. Don't worry about your credit score. It's more of your credit history than your credit score. So if your credit score is low, don't worry about that. It's not gonna be the best because your credit is the same as a person with no credit history. It's just the difference in the score, really. Worry about being your credit history than worry about the score, to be honest. You go to the car dealership, man. Act like you know what you in there going for. This is what you want. Play with your salesman. Play with them. What I mean is, like, let's say you got $5,000 to put down. Don't go in there and say you got $5,000 to put down. Okay, let's do this. As a 20K car, you got $5,000 to put down. Don't go in there and say you got $5,000 to put down, because I mean, you can keep this money in your pocket. Just go in there and say you got $2,000 to put down. If he say, man, can we get a little more? Might need a little more. Say $2,500. Until you get approved, basically, keep it going up a little bit, but not too much. Don't ever tell them how much you got to put down, because that's just not the best thing to do. It wouldn't hurt to keep money in your pockets. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're looking for a certain payment, because I think every $1,000 your payment goes down like $20. Every $1,000 of a down payment, your monthly payment goes down $20. So unless you're looking for a certain payment, that's the only way you should really go in there. Like, okay, this is how much I got down to put. It's really not much, like I said, into getting you a new car, getting your first car or whatever. Just have a little money saved up for a nice down payment and stay realistic with yourself. Don't try to overpay for a car that you really can't afford, man. If you just want a car, if you just want a car, you're not really into cars like that. You just want something to get you to point A, point B. Get you a new car. It's a lot of new cars out here that you can find for 20-something thousand with low mileage on it. Just get that, and by the time you're old enough to move out your mother, it'll already be paid off, and you won't have to pay on a car and an apartment at the same time. You just gotta worry about paying on your apartment. And then don't overthink when going to apply for your first car, man. Hey, and I hope you get approved. And if you would like to see more tips that I give out, free car tips, man, I have a playlist here listed for you that got all my free car tips and anything that you may need to know, man. And yeah, appreciate you for watching.